Greetings, everybody. Tommy Rat here. Happy holidays, everybody. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos, but today I am going to do something that I haven't finished in quite a while. Finish something that I started. Okay, I was reviewing my takes on Pushead's top 100 hardcore punk records from the 1980s. So I want to try to do a good detailed video on my take on it. And I tried to do a video to play a bunch of hardcore and punk rock songs on my channel, as if it was like a radio show, like a playlist. But YouTube shot that down. so, so can't do things like that on YouTube. So that was just one hassle I just did not want to deal with. Okay, if you're new to this channel, so please subscribe. Also, feel free to comment and hit that like button to show YouTube's algorithm that this is something that you're interested in seeing. Let me just fix this screen here for a second. Alright, that looks a whole lot better now. Okay. Yeah, well, I got limited technology here, so. Alright, now we're going to start with this top 100 list. I think the last number that we were at was number 40. So if we already covered it, then, well, I'm going to cover it again. Yeah, because we're gonna go as far as we can with this. As far as we can with this for less than an hour. So there's like there's like the Christmas video on YouTube for those of you that still celebrate it. Okay, we're gonna start with number 40 for this one, even though I may have talked about already. Circle Jerks Group Sex. Let me tell you something. First time I was interested in learning about this. I was interested in getting a Circle Jerks record. When I was trying to find find Black Flag stuff. I learned that Keith Morris was the original singer for Black Flag. So let me check out what this guy is doing with this band. Lo and behold, I found this record, Group Sex, at 99 Records. I was reading somewhere that this record was the best-selling hardcore punk record in New York City alone. I mean, I don't know how they figured out those metrics, but I mean, back then, I think there was a lot more bean counting. It was really a lot more difficult than Beat Today. Beat Today, with the technology that we have now, like using spreadsheets, some internet tools, even ChatGPT. With ChatGPT, you could do almost anything with. It's crazy, but yeah, doing almost anything with it with ChatGPT. So I would rate this record very high on the food chain. Still one of my favorite albums. Shout out to Lucky. Okay, number 39, The Stalin. When I see the name Stalin, I think of Joseph Stalin. Back then, my father used to tell me. I know I'm going to go off topic for a second. My father used to think he was more evil than Hitler. He hated him. And then he was so happy when he heard that he died back in 1953. I know it's a horrible thing to say about anybody, but then again, he was a horrible person. But let me find some more information about this band, the Stalin, so that so that I could so I could talk more about it instead of giving you some kind of half-ass opinion about it. While we're at it, here, while we're at it, okay. Okay, they were a Japanese punk band that was formed in 1980, and they lasted till 1985. But then they came back together again in 1993. So here, okay, so it was formed by a guy named Michiru Endo, if that's how I'm pronouncing it, in June of 1980, formed the Stalin. He chose a name because Joseph Stalin is very hated by most people in Japan, so it is very good for our image. Yeah, he was most hated by people in Russia too, most likely. But they that's enough. I'm not getting into that right now. Originally a three-piece with Endo on vocals and at Sushi on guitar and Jun, how do I pronounce on drums. Alright, I'm not really gonna get into this stuff, but they did have a record release called The Stalinism. And they were actually in a movie called First City. I'm not familiar with that movie either. But, okay, let me go back at my list here. So. Yeah, I believe the name of their record was called Mushi, and it was released in 1983. Okay, now number 38, Cro-Mags, Age of Quarrel. This is an album that stands the test of time since it was released. There was actually a demo tape called The Age of Quarrel 2, which yours truly happened to sing backup vocals on a couple of songs. But this was an album that was released on Profile Records when Profile was starting to was getting started up. When you had Murphy's Law, Cro-Mags, Leeway on this label during the crossover era. Yeah, so this was released in 1986. You know, it's active today, but not with the original lineup. I'm not going to get into that. Everybody knows what the deal is with that, so I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, this is like definitely one of the best albums out there. With that iconic beginning with from We Gotta Know, with that beginning part, then going right into World Peace, and then Show You No Mercy. Again, it still stands the test of time today. Okay, we've got number 37, Cause for Alarm, their debut 7-inch. They put this record out, but I think they had help from R Radical Records to do it for them. I think they did, if I'm not mistaken. And this record got re-released in the 90s by Victory Records. Yeah, and I actually sang a song with CFA once before they were leaving for their first tour, if you call it a tour. or like when they were supposed to go on tour, but they wanted to go to California. They were going out they were hanging out to the West Coast. That was my van. I remember. So pretty much, they were like D band at the time in during 1982, 83. And then, but while they were away, Agnostic Front built up their following to go neck and neck with them. And just about almost every original member of Cause for Alarm was an AF at one point or another. Too. That's during their existence. There's a nice 8-song 7-inch. Can't go wrong with that. Gatefold cover, 3-way gatefold. Number 36, Chaos UK, Burning Britain. This was an awesome record. And I believe these guys came back around in the 90s too. Definitely was different from a lot of the other stuff that was coming out of Britain during that time period. I remember. Usually all the old British punk bands used to have like 2 or 3 song records, but I think these guys had a little bit more on that. Let me take a look at the details on this record right here. Yeah, it was a nice 4-song record, very good size. Very good size. Okay. All right. Number 35, Youth Brigade, Sound of Fury. This was the LA Youth Brigade. And this was released in 1983. And they used to come to New York. They came to New York a few times. Number 34, Gods, Guts, Guns. This was released in 1983 by the band CIA. I should have said 34, CIA, Gods, Guts, and Guns. I did that half backwards. Okay, now let me just look at some details on this one. Yeah, they were like one of the first hardcore bands from Connecticut that was like around like in '82, along with the Vatican Commandos, Reflex on Pain. Later on, some of these guys joined the band 76% Uncertain. It is a 6-song EP. This was something that was getting a little more commonplace, when bands like started refraining from doing 8-song EPs. See a problem with that? The quality diminishes when you add 8 songs on a vinyl record. The more songs you add, the quality drops, and basically you need like shorter songs. Number 33, Anti-Semics. Name of this record is called Rape Ass. Oh my god. Yeah, they're trying to hide the cover on this record over here on this Rachel Music site. 5-song EP. That song on here called War Machine. Basically, aggressive, raw, energetic, apocalyptic, lo-fi, angry, political, war, noisy, male vocalist. And the descriptors are protest, rhythmic, pessimist, manic, anarchism, chaotic, rebellious, death, vulgar. Nice. And I gotta check. I gotta check this one. Check this record out. I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna play it right now because I'm not going. Don't want YouTube coming after me when one of those wonderful copyright strikes, and then trying to limit my channel from doing what I wanted to do. Not trying to go for that. All right, here's number 32. Various artists. Process of Elimination EP. I remember when this record came out, it features a lot of the Midwest bands like the Necros, Negative Approach, the Meat Men, McDonald's, Violent Apathy. I think those were Violent Apathy. Toxic Reasons. Yeah, let's just look at this record here. I'm having a brain fart here for a second. Youth Patrol. I remember Youth Patrol and the Fix. Fix was a very good band. And this was an overall good record. And this was the one that when they came to, for the Process of Elimination tour, they came to the play at 2+2, where A7 was holding shows at the time. And every city they went, they had a local band open up for them. And New York, they had Agnostic Front playing their first show ever. Originally, for that show, they were called the Zoo Crew. Just to get the name on a flyer. That's what Vinny said. They needed to come up with a name, but then they came up with the name Agnostic Front. Vinny chose that name. It's about questioning everything. Questioning everything. That's why he told me at the name at the time. All right. Number 31, Impact Unit from Boston. They had an EP out called My Friend the Pit. And this was like a 6-song EP. And this was a very good band. They were very good. I think this was like one of my favorite bands that came out of Boston. I don't remember them ever coming to New York to play. I don't think they ever did. And actually, who put out this record? I gotta see who put out this record here. This was released in 1989. Yeah, it doesn't say who. It doesn't say who released it. All right, but anyway, I guess I gotta go to the Discogs for more detailed information. Now, number 30, The Farts from Seattle. And then EP out because this fucking world stinks. I believe this was self-released by these guys. They were like the band from Seattle, and I think they were originally formed from the ashes of a previous band called Soldier, Solger. That was one record I was never able to find anywhere. But the Fox, they were, pretty much, this is like a 9-song EP they had. 9 songs. That was a lot. Yeah, that's a lot for a 7-inch. That was like still one of my favorite bands from Seattle. I think later on, some of those members formed the Accused. 29, SNFU, and no one else wanted to play. Yeah, this is a nice 14-song record. And this was released in 1985. I think the first time I saw SNFU, they they opened up for they opened up for the Bad Brains at the old Ritz at a Rock Hotel show. Yeah. And this was a show where they had Warzone, Leeway, and Nausea opening for them. And that was supposed to be Warzone. There was a rumor that Warzone was going to break up after that show, but then they just got the record out and their first record out and they started playing. But that's another topic for another time. So let's. Yeah, I heard some tracks from this record. I know Johnny Stiff used to swear by this band. He used to swear by them. Number 28, Scream, Still Screaming LP. This album is a classic. Scream always came to New York. Back in '82, like the Bad Brains would bring them up, or they would come and do their shows. Everybody loved Scream. Everybody loved them. They weren't at the time. They were not like the other DC bands that were coming up at the time. With the because back then some of these bands hated New York for whatever reason, but that's explained in my book. That's explained in my book, Punk Rock Revolution. I do go over that. But I remember one time I did. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something you might not approve of, but I did a trip of acid back in 1983. You know, and then I on my way home riding in trains, used to see all this crazy shit. Let me tell you something. I was looking at the walls. I was looking at the walls of the subway station. All these stains are on there. Looked like that they were being spilled onto the subway platform. And then riding on the train, I see like all the dirt, all the dust and dirt that was on the floor of the train looked like it was risen up like a smoky swamp. So I get home. I go right in the bedroom, play the Scream album on my tape recorder, and as I'm listening to this, I'm like seeing all these colors, psychedelic colors fly in my head. Weird, but anyway, that's what I experienced. That's what I experienced. So I haven't really messed with any of that type of stuff since then. Some of you might not believe me, but hey, got no reason to lie about that. Anyway, 27, Chaotic Discord, Fuck the World. This was released in 1982. 3-song 7-inch. And they were from England. And according to this, according to the genres on here, it's like UK 82 and hardcore punk. 26, Poison Idea, Kings of Punk. Yeah, they got the cover blocked off on here, because of somebody's belly with the words King of Punk with sliced with razor blades in it. This was released in 1986. And this was a very good record. No, 1985. It was released in 1985. No, wait a second. It was recorded in 1985. Okay. All right. And this was pretty unusual, like a 11 song album. It was an 11 song album. But then again, Victim in Pain was an 11 song album. That was. And that's about like not even 11 minutes worth, not even 12 minutes worth of music on there. Number 25, Negative Approach. Their debut 7-inch. That was like a 10-song record. Yeah, on the site Rakuten Music, they didn't want the Linda Blair cover displayed on their website. Censorship right there. Fuck that shit. 10-song records, you know, that songs I Can't Tell No One, Pressure. Nothing. A lot of people, a lot of bands used to cover songs like Nothing, Ready to Fight. Those a lot of these songs, there were a lot of short songs, and they're still going strong today. Negative Approach. Okay, various okay, number 24, the This Is Boston Not LA comp. Alright, this record had about like something like over 30 songs on here. Over 30 songs on here. You have bands like Jerry's Kids. Warzone actually played a show with Jerry's Kids at the old Rock Hotel on Jane Street. All right. Proletariat, I think, are more like a punk band. Groinoids, I don't remember. They have one song on here. I don't remember them too well, unfortunately. FU's, yeah. FU's, they were a great band. Gangrene. I like this stuff better than their later stuff. I'll be honest with you. The Cadence, I don't remember them too well. Yeah. All right, they had a song called Slam. At the Freeze, they were more like a punk band. They were more like a punk band than a hardcore band. Yeah, surprise, SSD was not on this record, but then again, Arenal didn't want to be on the record, and then Arenal did not want SSD on there. So that's yeah, that's it. That's their business. 23. Okay, 4 old 7 inches on a 12-inch. This was the Discord album that featured the Teen Idols, SOA, Government Issues, and Youth Brigades 7 inches on one 12-inch record. Rumor has it that this record was, I had the original records of all these at one time. But rumor had it that this was done, that this was supposed to be done for tax purposes. Because I don't think Discord was, and they might not have been an entity at the time to do something. But you know what? You have a lot of haters out there that be doing shit to other people that try to do good. That's all I'll say. 22, Channel 3, their debut album. Very good record this was. This was released in 1981. Let me see, is this an album or an EP? It says an EP. Okay. Yeah, it's a 12-inch EP. I had like 5 songs on there. Yeah, I remember they came to New York and the crowd opened up for them. Yeah, and they used to be played a lot on Noise the Show. That's one of the first times I got exposed. I got exposed to them. Okay, 21 charged GBH leather bristle studs and acne. This was, I know this was an EP. No, it wasn't an EP. It was an album. Shit, damn, having brain farts again. At 12-song record, and this was released on the same label as Discharge. Very heavy stuff. This is very heavy stuff. Right, but according to this website, saying it's an EP, but they're saying it's an EP, but I don't know. They may have some mistakes on here that I don't think. I think they're thinking about the. I think they got the wrong information on here. All right, so all right, they got this listed as 1990, but I remember this coming out a lot much earlier than that. Really, unless it's a reissue or something. All right, I don't remember being out that late. I don't remember it being that long of a record. Really don't. Maybe it's the CD version. Number 20, Antidote, Thou Shalt Not Kill. Now this record fucking stands the test of time. This is back when they had the lineup consisting of Nunzio, Bliss, Louis on drums, bass player. I forget. Bass player. I think. I think I might. Let me see. Let me see something here. I think who the. Let me see. Brian. That was his name. Brian. Brian was a bass player. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, I remember him. And this record still stands the time with you had the song, nice 8-song record, Life is One, Real Deal, Foreign Job Lot, Something Must Be Done. That was like the most catchiest mosh part in there. That makes it memorable. Number 19, the FU's Kill for Christ. Get some information on this album. It was released in 1982, and this was a release on Exclaim Records. I never got this record, but I did hear it, and it was a very good record. It was very good. Number 18, Adolescence, their debut album, which was released in 1981 on Frontier Records. I remember a friend of mine in Brooklyn, he got this record, and had songs on there, like I Hate Children, LA Girl, Kids of the Black Hole, Amoeba, Wrecking Crew. I think this might have been like one of the first bands I actually heard do mosh parts in their songs. This might have been the second band. First band might have been the Circle Jerks and Bad Brains, and they refined it. They refined it. They refined it to an art. Number 17, Necros, their debut 7-inch. No, that's not their debut 7-inch. There was a 7-inch that came out before that I was never, for the life of me, ever was able to find. Their previous 7-inch was called Sex Drive. and this was like a 9-song 7-inch. I remember first time I heard the name was when the Circle Jerks came to New York. Be right back. I have to take care of something on here. Right back. Okay, that should help. I'm recording this on my laptop, and the battery's about to go dead. So I wasn't trying to stop this for shit. So I like to do this shit while editing, do these videos while editing. This way, my feet can be held to the fire if something goes wrong. When I get a bigger audience, maybe I'll try to do some lives, do something live on here, and have something good to come up with for a live video. Yeah, we were talking about the Necros. Yeah, first time I first heard of them was like when they played at Irving Plaza, opening up for the Circle Jerks and the Simulators. I never got to see that show because of a crazy work schedule I had at that time that I did not know how to work around. But then when I heard that they had a 7-inch out released by Touch and Go, I went and got it. This was one of my favorite 7-inches, and I believe Discord helped them out in the beginning with with that getting that 7-inch released. Okay, we're gonna try to go through the whole list because there's no need for a second video to do this shit. I'll tell you that now. Yeah, we're just gonna go through the whole list. Number 16, Sick of It All, Blood, Sweat, and No Tears. Definitely their debut album that was released on, I believe, In Effect released it. In Effect Records, when they were cool, before they were cool. Before that, they were like Combat Records, Combat Core Records. Then they just relatively wanted an imprint that related to the hardcore genre. So this record is always good. It was released in '89, and it had like over 15 songs on there. 17 songs to be precise. And a lot of these songs were off their first 7-inch and their demo tape. Everything these guys did were very good. And Lou is dealing with some just recently had some surgery for throat cancer. I'm glad he's doing fine right now, and he's trying to recover. Much props to Lou. Lou, thank you for the review on my book. I had to say that, okay? Shameless self-promotion. All right. If he thinks it's a good book, you should get it too. Okay, number 15, the Flex Your Head compilation. All right, this record really stands the test of time. I remember, it has all the early bands on there, from even the ones that did not have anything out, like the Untouchables, Red Sea, Deadline, and then you had bands that had bands on the classic bands like the Teen Idols, SOA, Minor Threat, U Brigade, Iron Cross, and later bands like Artificial Peace, I think this was one of the best compilations in existence because this compilation featured stuff that did not appear on other bands on other bands' records, like after the fact. I think what makes a good compilation, in my opinion, what makes a good compilation is if you have songs that do not appear on your major releases. Because a lot of bands just throw whatever shit they have available on theirs, and I mean like what I mean like just to be on a compilation, like have something you don't use for your other records. That's what I feel. A band should, like, when you do compilation, it should be stuff that's exclusive to that compilation, not something that gets re-released on an album or 7 inch afterwards. Just keep it exclusive. That's my opinion. Because a lot of this stuff was very exclusive stuff, which was, I think that was done the right way. Number 14, Cockney Rejects Greatest Hits, Volume 1. Now, all the records, I think the first 3 records was Greatest Hits Volume 1, Greatest Hits Volume 2, Greatest Hits Volume 3, and I think they tried to go more in the metal direction after their third album. But anyway, we're talking about this one here. So, first time I heard anything from them was on that this guy. There was a DJ that was on WSOU named Daniel Moncooney. Daniel Moncooney or Cooley, I forget his name. And he used to play a lot of punk stuff, punk and hardcore stuff that was more obscure. This is the first time I heard the Rejects on there, but then it was this was a good record too. This was a great record too. For Fighting in the Streets. Here they come again, trying to read that Rejects, East End. Are You Ready to Rock? Those are fools. What am I saying? Not fools. What am I saying? I'm not a fool. Yeah, no, I'm not a fool. Okay, that's the first track on the record. This was a good record overall, and I believe it came with a poster. Number 13, DYS Brotherhood. This was the first album by DYS, and it was released by Exclaim. Dave Smalley was the singer for this band, and he went on to play in other bands. One thing about Dave Smalley, he had like a very unique vocal style. Like, in my opinion, I think he changed he changed his vocal style. He changed his vocal style to accommodate some of the people that he was playing with in his other projects. So there was a lot more than what he did on this record. I'll tell you. Okay, number 12, the Fate Void Split album. One of my favorite albums. On one side you had the Fate, and the other side you had Void. Fate used to come to New York City in, I believe, in '81 with they came up with the Bad Brains. Technically, they were supposed to be SOA with Alec McCasing, but then they just changed it into a new band, have new songs. I mean, that was a good move. I thought that was a good move on their part. I, Void, they came up to New York a couple of times, and that was it. They came up a couple of times, and they broke up it, and I think one time I remember Void came to Gildersleeves. 2 songs after 2 songs, the singer hurt himself on stage, and then they had to cut this set short. Gizm, Detestation. This was released in 1983. They're from Japan, and they had an 8-song record. They were more like Japanese hardcore, crust punk, and heavy metal. Ten, Anti-Sect. In Darkness, There Is No Choice. This was released in 1984. They pretty much had an anarcho-punk, crust-punk style. And this was like a 15 song 7-inch. I believe I have this record on cassette somewhere in my house. A friend of mine from North Carolina sent it to me. Oh no, that's another band. Yeah, I got this somewhere in my house. Yeah, sent it to me. Yeah, that was a record. Yeah. Jerry's Kids. Is This My World? Now let me see what's up with this one here. Yeah, they're pretty much hardcore. This was released in 1983. Yeah, at the time, I think this was at the time, Warzone did open up for them at the Rock Hotel. They had this album out. This is a very, very good record. Rudimentary Peni. I love this record. I love number 8. Number 8. Number 8. Yeah. Tim Summers used to play this on his radio show. That was the first time I heard it. It's pretty much like, more like hardcore. It was definitely more in the vein of hardcore punk. Aside from some of the stuff that's coming out from Brent. 12 songs. It's a lot. I'm coughing on my coffee right here. 12 songs is a lot for a 7-inch, I gotta say. I think there might be an album version of this record that came out in later pressings. Okay, number 7, Disorder, Complete Disorder. EP. Alright, this is an EP. Oh. This was released in 1981. And has 4 songs. Now I got a hold of their later record, Distortion to Deafness, which was like about 3 songs on there. But this one, I'm very familiar with this band. They were a very good band. They were hard hitting. But this record I never saw this. I never even got a hold of this record. But I will say the band is very good. Okay, now number 6, TSOL, their debut EP. I think this record. Yeah, this record. I like this record better. They were more in a hardcore punk vein. They had like 5 songs on a 12-inch record. Like all these songs on here, on each side, all seem to go one right after the other. I remember. The later stuff, I didn't really care for. It more, I think it was more like goth. It was more like leaning towards the goth side. But this record, I love this record. All right, number 5, Bad Brains, the Raw cassette. This was a staple in everybody's collection. Because before this came out, Bad Brains had Pay to Come. They had this Pay to Come 7-inch. And then, like, whatever, everybody knew who saw them at the local shows, knew what this stuff was. That was like the only way, like, they were, they were getting familiarized with their material by seeing them play consistently. And when this came out, a lot of people had to buy cassette players to play this tape, because it was a cassette only release. And I think at the time people either had vinyl or 8-track players. 8-track was completely being phased out around this time. But you have all the classics on. You have all the classics on here that really, like Attitude, Big Takeover, Regulator, Right Brigade, Sailing On, and the and they had the three reggae songs on there. This is at the top. This is at the top of the food chain as far as their releases go, in my opinion. Minor Threat, the Minor Threat EP. This was like I say, this is like my second favorite band, Minor Threat. Because they released an 8-song EP, and pretty much a lot of these songs, a lot of these songs are like very short. On the no, all the songs on this record, I'm looking at this list here, the track listing. All these songs are under 2 minutes. Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. 8 songs. I got this one was the red cover. I believe they are re-releasing the red cover. Rumor has it. Number 3, Subhumans, Demolition War. The Subhumans from England, very good band. I always liked them. They pretty much were in a hardcore punk vein. Unlike other bands from Britain. But around the time, I think Britain was starting to follow the hardcore genre more than the punk genre. Okay, 6 songs. This was a 6-song EP. Drugs of Youth. I remember hearing this one from Tim Johannen's show. No, what am I saying? I'm not talking about him. Tim Summers. Shit. Well, I get fucking mixing up my names here. Oh boy, not cool. Sorry. Okay, number 2, SSD Control, Get It Away. This was a 7-song EP. This was a very good album, EP, I gotta say. Very good EP. Had songs like Glue, Force Down Your Throat, Get It Away, Under the Influence, Nothing Done, Exclaim, and No Reply from the Buzzcocks. Yeah, I believe this was the first album that they did with a second guitar player. Around the time when a lot of bands started doing the second guitar, adding the second guitar play phase. Like I said, it either works if you have the right guy, or it doesn't work at all. Guys go back to being a 4-piece. Okay, number 1, Discharge, Fight Back. I would have rated some of these other records number 1, but not, in my opinion. But Fight Back was a very good record. That was released in 1980. A nice 5-song 7-inch. I think this is right when it was more they were more hard-hitting punk. They were more like an acro punk band at the time. I wouldn't say they were a hardcore punk band. They were more like in that vein. But Discharge was always a great band. They were always a great band. Okay, so that's it. That was the rest of that. That was the rest of that list. So that's about it with the list. But let's see what other stuff we could talk about. Well, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Yeah, see, no, it's not my Christmas tree. So anyway, hold on a second. So my book, Punk Rock Revolution, is at a discounted rate. I was going to end today, for the ebook, and for the Kindle book, and for the paperback version. But maybe I might extend the sale until the end of the year. So let's see what happens. So it's supposed to end today, but I might extend it to the end of the year. So if you haven't gotten it, check out the links in the description box below if you want to get a hold of my book, Punk Rock Revolution. And also got Rejuvenate merch for sale in my store. I might try to get some other stuff in there. Well, that's about it, folks. So, like I said, if you like what you saw, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, comment, and like this channel. And thank you again for watching. Merry Christmas, everybody, and have a Happy New Year if I don't come back and do another video before the year is over. Thank you again.